This is one of the most interesting rifles we've ever had on the channel. This is the Global Ordnance Monolith. This is really interesting rifle because it has a monolithic barrel, a folding stock, and a bunch of typical AR-15 features. And it kind of bridges the gap between the direct impingement and the piston systems and kind of tries to give you the best of both worlds. And by the end of this video, we're gonna go over it all and tell you whether or not we think it's a good buy. So we wanna be transparent with you guys. This rifle was sent out for review, but we weren't paid to do this or anything. We requested this because we thought it was a very interesting rifle, and I think it was something that we wanted to explore as a new platform and wanted to bring you guys our opinions and thoughts on. So before we dive into how it feels and how it shoots, how the reliability works on it, I want to give a little synopsis of the setup. So right now we have a Holosun ARO on a Midwest Industries mount. This is a really high mount because we have this thing set up for night vision. This has a Holosun laser on the front of it. This laser's been really nice. It's an inline laser, which is really cool. And we have a Streamlight ProTac with a pressure pad and then a BCM hand stop. And you'll notice on the very front, it comes with a chemo brake. That's because, we really like the chemo system. We are running a Sandman on it. We've ran a Lahar 30 and a Huxworks can. So putting it through its paces on different suppressors. In terms of round count, we're about at 1,000. That's just how the testings went. We've had this for a few months now. We've done some night vision shooting with it. We've had a lot of experience with it, and hopefully that leads into kind of giving you guys our best take at this rifle. Before we dive right into this whole rifle, I want to tell you guys about the website that we built for y'all. This website is basementoperator.com, and there you can find builds, you can find merch, bam. We do merch drop every once in a while, so go sign up for the email. There you can get notified and it'll keep you guys up to speed. And then of course we have links to our sponsors and the people that support us. Speaking of sponsors, we got to give a big thank you to True Shot. True Shot is one of the ammo supporters here on the channel, and also AAC because they're also an ammo supporter. So big thank you to them both. And big thank you to you guys because you keep the channel on and we could not do it without you. So Sparky, let's start talking about this rifle. We had kind of briefly hit it. This is a direct impingement AR, I wouldn't say AR-15, but it's like kind of an, yeah, it's kind of AR-15 style. A lot of the components of this are compatible with your typical AR-15. But not all. But not all. And that allows you to bridge the gap between like maybe upgrading triggers or safeties or hand stops or stuff like that, which I think is a really cool feature.
One of the first things I noticed when we had this rifle out is it's a little bit different feel than your standard like AR-15. For whatever reason, it feels just a hair lighter. And I think part of that comes from the stock, where you don't have your buffer tube and all that kind of good stuff back here.
So this is a typical F5 stock, similar to a lot of those you see on like the Scar or the ACR or maybe the Jackal. So very common stock. I'm a big fan of it. I like it.
I like it. I like the multiple adjustment points, your cheek riser up and down.
You can pick it up and down.
QD, and it feels pretty solid. One thing I noticed too is the rail on this, which I do like the M-LOK, and I like all the cuts for your ventilation you got up here. Because, I mean, we were shooting, it was getting a little warm. And you'll notice too that your charging handle obviously is not back here. You have this paratrooper style, which is non-reciprocating, but she's right there. And of course it folds out of the way.
It also can be swapped to the other side if you're weird and shoot with your other hand.
Good old southpaw.
I like the non-reciprocating charging handle. I don't know how you feel about the paratrooper style charging handles. Sparky might not.
It's funky. It is different.
So would you prefer something more like the Jackal right here, that it just stays out, or how would you?
So I guess the biggest gripe for me is how I hold the rifle with that kind of that more claw grip up here. It just feels weird to have it right in the palm.
So do you think it should be pulled further back?
I think if it was a little further back,
it might feel a little bit better.
A little better for me. Personally, I just don't like to feel that. Now,
it's not reciprocating though.
It is not reciprocating, but it just feels funny in the hands having that dig into my palm right there. It's not comfortable. That's just me.
That's a fair critique. Speaking of, the charging handle, it leads to the bolt carrier group, which is kind of like a little odd. It's like a half bolt carrier group, really. So this is a direct impingement rifle, and there is a guide rod up here on the very back side of the bolt carrier group, and a spring, and the recoil spring. And basically the bolt carrier group will ride on that guide rod, and the recoil spring will take the majority of recoil off of the gas coming back from
It is
the
a soft
rifle.
shooting rifle.
It is a soft shooting rifle. The bolt carrier group's interesting though because it is an adjustable bolt carrier group. So there's two different settings. There's suppressed and unsuppressed. There's a little, I guess, little flathead screwdriver looking knob
thing
that all you have to do is flip it to the opposite setting and it'll allow you to adjust for suppressor shooting. And so that's really neat. Now the one complaint we do have about the bolt carrier group is here on the side. There's a little hole that crap could potentially get into.
It's a little gap between your BCG and your upper.
That could potentially lead to issues with stuff getting in it. And so we reached out to the manufacturer and they're really cool about it. And they started to talk to us about potential solutions for bridging that gap, either extending the bolt carrier group some way or trying to improve the spacing on it. They're really understanding of the critique. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or so you might see something different come out of it.
Yeah, which they can only do so much too because you got to think about the casing coming out here.
Yeah, the casing coming out and riding that guide rod. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, into the upper receiver, especially since it's a DI gun and not a piston gun. Confines and constraints the bolt carrier group in there. But they were open to the critique and they were really good about it. So kudos to them, but it is an issue that we could potentially see something occurring over hard use, you know. So one of the really cool things about this rifle right here is that it kind of is very similar to an AR-15, and you can see that here in the lower receiver.
Yeah, it definitely resembles an AR-15.
So we have a B5 Systems grip here that you can see we've goon taped, but it's a complete ambidextrous safety. The bolt release and bolt catch are ambidextrous as well. You can also release the bolt by smacking the dust cover, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that's a feature that I have to have with it, but it is a plausible feature.
It is there.
It is there. You have your mag release on either side, and they're both very big extruding mag releases. So
if you're wearing gloves or something, it's easy to get.
Yeah, it's easy to hit and very accommodating. Then as for the trigger, Sparky.
It's crisp.
It is crisp, and there's not a lot of take up.
It's no.
We'll give it a go.
It's no, you know, like exactly. I wouldn't say it's the best thing in the world, but it's definitely crisp. It's better than average mil spec. I will say the reset is short, and you're right back on it.
Quick shooting, flat face trigger. I forgot to mention that. So that's really the gist of the lower receiver. Another nice part about the lower receiver is the aesthetics. So it does have really nice cut-ins. Kind of reminds you of kind of like an ADM or, you know, another high-end lower.
I enjoyed this little flared magazine.
Oh yeah, it is pretty sweet. So I mean, it allows you to hit your target, move quickly with it. The lower also, the stock fits directly into the lower receiver. So if you're not 100% set on the F5 stock, then you're kind of SOL unless you can find some sort of system to allow it to, you know.
I'm sure at some point I would imagine they would do something different, but for now this is your only option.
Yep, it's made into the lower receiver. Another really cool thing about this rifle is the barrel, and I think that's really the selling point to this thing.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the main selling point.
It's the Monolith, right, from Global Ordnance. So why it's called that is because it is a monolithic barrel. So you may ask, what the hell does that mean? Valid question. The barrel, the gas block, and the muzzle brake are all one piece of steel, which is really, really cool. So it eliminates a lot of fail points along the barrel. So you no longer have to worry about your gas block failing because it's just part of the barrel. And then the barrel is also thermal fitted into the upper receiver. So, I mean, it is in there. And
not going anywhere.
There's not a lot of wiggle room in there. The rail system's tied in with these 8 little bolts, and it is also, there's a little notch that it fits into the upper receiver, so you do not have to worry about the rail shifting.
It's a little bit of anti-rotation.
Yeah,
I would say the only bad thing I think about with that is if you had a catastrophic failure with your muzzle device or your gas block or the barrel, you got to swap. It's all going.
Yeah, that is fair.
Which I guess could be good or bad, because now you just swap it in and out, voila. But if you decide you don't want this muzzle device and you want something different for a different suppressor, you're kind of locked in, aren't you?
You can buy this with a normal threaded barrel.
Sure. Well, then there you go.
Yep. So
there's the solution.
This is the key mod version. This is the original monolithic. So after this initial release, there was a second one, and it had the the threaded barrel option for that very reason.
So there you go.
But there's a lot of chemo hubs out there, and pretty much everything.
It's probably one of the more popular.
Yeah, everything's hub compatible now. So
Yeah.
like if you have a suppressor that doesn't typically take chemo, you can just,
Voila.
Anyway, so speaking of the barrel, I think it's a fair point to talk about accuracy because you might want to set this thing up as kind of like an almost DMR setup. I mean, it's got a 16-inch barrel, so you can extend your range out there at 400 or 500 yards if you wanted to. Sparky took this thing and took it shooting. And we'll pop the groups here up on screen.
Average Joe accuracy.
Average Joe accuracy, so keep all of that in mind. We're not snipers or anything like that. We're just your everyday guys. But this thing was incredibly accurate, in my opinion. We had a really good group. It was the VMAX.
Yep.
Oh shoot, what's
Varmint Express.
Varmint Express, exactly. Sparky had a really tight group and then he pulled one of them. So I would almost say this is an MOA gun. The rest of them were pretty close to under 2.
2 it was 1.7. Yeah.
1.8, and I think one was like 2.5. But, for the most part, it was a really accurate rifle. And, for the price point that it's sitting at, I think that, that's good and to be expected, especially since we were able to get that sub-MOA group out of the varmint stuff. So let's talk about how this rifle actually performed. In terms of weight and doing a lot of tactical movements on the range, we ran into really no issues whatsoever. Like we'd said, this is kind of a mix between a DI and piston-driven rifle. So what that means is the weight is substantially reduced on the front end of this, whereas if it was a true piston, it would really be front heavy, which, as with the Jackal and the Carmel and the other piston guns we have, they're just black at the front. Between balancing suppressors and adjusting the bolt, we shot the Huxworks, we shot Aero Precision Lahar, and we shot a Sandman K. Didn't have any issues whatsoever in terms of gassing between those rifles, or between those suppressors on this rifle itself. So that's really good. In terms of maneuverability and how well it shot itself, very soft shooting rifle, for what it is and that weird system of direct impingement. I thought it was a very comfortable shooter. What about you, Sparky?
Yeah, I enjoyed shooting it. It was noticeable, a little bit softer shooting, and I enjoyed it's a little bit slimmer. Like it looks slim, and Slim Fast over here. But man, it pointed good. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't have a problem recommending it.
Yep, and you can keep your shots on target
It did
pretty
snag
quickly.
up on a bunch of stuff either. Like I kind of figured, this being a little bit funky and this charging
handle.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna be kind of weird. But so far, no, it did what it was supposed to do.
So we have talked about this rifle for a good little bit, and we say all of what we've said to say, this is a new platform, or new in nature to the gun world. The Monolithic Barrel is unique, to say the very least, and offers a completely different system than what we've seen from any of the other rifles we have in the gun room right now.
Finally, somebody went outside the box.
It is definitely outside the box, having that DI gun that's a folder, so it's different, it's unique, and for $1,200, do you think it's worth it? Sparky, would you buy it?
I mean, for $1,200, if I only had $1,200 to buy one rifle, I don't know if I would, but I feel like if I spent $1,200 on it, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good quality rifle. It's ran pretty good for us. And I do like the idea of the folding stock. I think it looks good. It's definitely going to draw some eyes.
I think if you are bouncing between this and a Jackal,
I'd take this over Jackal just because of weight.
I would 100% agree. I know the Jackal is a piston-driven system, but they share a lot of the same similarities, and I think the comparison can be made there that, the Jackal is a lot heavier. It's not as accurate. This thing was more accurate than the Jackal. It does have a really innovative monolithic barrel. I think that this system, if you were looking for something that has a folding stock, or that you were looking for something that is a close to an AR-15, but you don't necessarily want an AR-15, I think this is a great system to look at and consider on your shopping spree. There's a lot of stuff out there that floats in the realm of this, like the BRNs, the Jackals, the Carmels, the CZ Bren, stuff like that. And this is a unique take on this style of rifle, and I think that it's a really cool system and offers a lot of benefits, especially considering how accurate it is and just how close to an AR-15 it is without actually being an AR-15. I think it offers a lot of benefits. Because like if you want to upgrade your trigger or whatever it is, you still have the ability to do so.
Yeah, you can find aftermarket parts relatively easily for those kind of things. And also, if you just have a bunch of AR-15s, you just kind of want something different.
And maybe you don't want a piston.
Yeah, exactly. This is a good option.
Yeah, really the selling point for me is how lightweight it is compared to other piston rifles that we do have.
Sure.
And it still being functionally similar in terms of being able to fold the stock and stuff like that. So I'm a real big fan of the Monolith, and I think it's definitely worth the look, and definitely I feel like it's worth the $1,200.
I'd agree.
So we appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Go comment down below what you think, and we'll see you guys in the next one. As always, take someone outdoors. Peace.
Bye, Mom.
One of my favorite things about it is the fact that I have one of the nastiest rattle can jobs I've ever done on it. But Sparky is not a big fan.
Nah, keep them clean.
Yeah, so me and Sparky have a different opinion on it. We would love to know down below what you guys think. Are you a not spray paint your gun, or are you spray paint your gun? Let us know.
Looks like a first grader got a hold of this.
Okay.
All right, perfect.